Welcome to the Interesting Podcast. This is Todd Whelan with Mike Ritter, and we're talking about beginning strength, you want to make things stronger. And thank you. Have a good day.
Welcome to the Inward Investing Podcast. I'm Mike Ritter.
And I'm Todd Whelan.
And Todd pointed out to me that I forgot to introduce myself on the last show.
Okay, Mike. We still love you.
So, in case you were wondering who was hosting, it was Todd and me on the last one. Today we are talking about beginner strength training. And we're going to teach you how to develop a program if you're just starting out with weight training and you want a good general wellness program, or if you've been doing it a while and you need a change up. So we're going to cover a lot of the basics and how Todd develops strength training programs for beginners.
We are.
Yeah, we are. And for those of you who don't know, some of our listeners I know us or train with us and actually come to our gym. Some of you, we're really welcome to have you, really happy to have you, but you wouldn't know unless you met Todd and actually trained with him a little bit how bright of a guy he actually is. And I know he'll never say this, and I know he'll never talk about this, so I'm going to. Probably one of the brightest guys that I know in terms of the neurological side of training. How much your brain and neurology has to do with your ability to move, strength, how to gain mobility in your hips, knees, shoulders in 100 different ways. You're very accommodating to different age groups, and you're also now a professor.
Yes, Professor Todd.
Professor Todd.
That's how I should introduce myself from now on.
So, and I will say, and I mean this, I may or may not have actually told you that I want other people to notice that it's not that easy to find people that have an equal appreciation for the academic side of training and the meathead, broness, work ethic that comes along with it, because we know, like, in order to train at the level you need to get huge results, you have to kind of get stupid while you train, which is why it's really helpful to have a coach or somebody looking out for you a little bit. And you do that. You seek outside help. You're not too proud. You don't try to do it all on your own. But I will say, from friend to friend, coworker to coworker, colleagues, that I do appreciate that balance, and I know you do it intentionally. It's not by accident. So we need more people in the world like you, and that's why I chose to have you deliver this podcast, because I think it needs to come from somebody like you that understands both sides of things.
My Neanderthal skull and brain doesn't interfere too much with my learning of some of this stuff. But, all right. So thank you, Mike. And, between the both of us in our short times here on the earth, we have over 20 years combined of personal training and strength training, conditioning, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we've invested a lot of time into ourselves to get better. You're no slouch there either, Mike. We'll turn this into a podcast just about boosting each other's egos.
Buttering each other up.
But no, so what Mike was saying with that last part, it really ties into how we're going to get into the beginning strength training or beginner strength training. How he was just talking about sometimes you have to get stupid, right, to like really bro out, to really get stronger or better at what you're doing, because we see a lot of people who are either one side or the other, right? There's a lot of very smart people who have never stepped foot in a weight room trying to tell you how to do an exercise, or there are people who've only ever worked out themselves. They have a tremendous looking body, like way better than what my body looks like. They can be way stronger than me, but they've never once like had a successful client because they've never divulged into the studying and understanding of how to train someone. They only know how it works on themselves. So if it doesn't work the way they want to do it, the way they've always done it, they don't know. And then they're like, oh, well, it's your fault. They blame you.
Yeah, and this is not a direct comparison, but just as an example, it's kind of like LeBron James teaching people to play basketball. If somebody hasn't gone through the learning process themselves, sometimes it's difficult to really get where you need to be. And so let me ask you, because I don't know if I've really ever asked you this, and the audience needs to know. were you pretty naturally athletic to begin with? And how much of your athleticism, and I want to know, to be completely honest, because there's all kinds of different stuff. Were you pretty athletic to begin with? And how much of it was God-given versus, your work ethic alone?
So athleticism, very athletic my entire life. Like I started walking at like between 8 and 8.5 months old. Like my mom said I walked for one day and then I started running. Right. And then I was always climbing on things. I have 2 older brothers that would beat me up. Not in like a physically harm, like we have good relationships and everything like that. Yeah, like
brothers do.
Just brothers do, tie me up and I'd have to try and wiggle out and everything.
That's always a fun game for the younger brother.
Yes. Tie me to a chair, put a sleeping bag cover over my head, duct tape it around my neck when my parents aren't home, and all right, get out.
This podcast is also sponsored by my younger brothers.
That you tortured.
That I absolutely tortured. Right. I had the upper hand my whole life.
But I was fast, but not like the fastest. I was never really strong, right? That's something that I've had to work extremely hard at. I graduated high school right around 6 feet tall, and I only weighed probably like 130, 135 pounds.
Out of high school?
Out of high school, yes.
Whoa.
I was like as tall as I am now, but like half my body weight practically. Not obviously, not half my body weight. But
wow. So like I mean
70 to 80 pounds lighter than I am now.
How did you not get broken?
I think it was just my older brothers beating me up all the time. And I also had,
we call kids like that scrappy.
Yeah. So I was never like the fast, like I played, so growing up, so going back a little bit more, right? I think my mom put me in swimming lessons when I was young because we had a pool in the backyard. I can't like, I'm going to swim doggy paddle or just a little freestyle. I'm not a very good swimmer, but like I can not drown if you throw me in the ocean or something. But if I have to swim like a mile, I'm probably going to drown. So we did that. And then I started taking gymnastics. So I took gymnastics from, I don't even know when I started, but I think I stopped in 7th grade.
So and maybe you went a couple years?
For what?
Gymnastics.
So yeah, so from like probably, I want to say kindergarten-ish to 1st grade-ish, I was in gymnastics. So like,
that's a good amount of time. So
7 to 8 years, I think, like of my life, I was doing gymnastics in the beginning.
I also just realized we're totally on different wavelengths as far as addition goes. I underestimated by quite a bit. Go ahead.
That's all right. So took gymnastics, but then my last 2 years of taking gymnastics, I also started playing football, and I really liked football a lot better, right? But obviously being scrawnier and scrappier, as you just said, right? So being very skinny, I showed no muscle tone anywhere. Like when I was that skinny, no abs, no pecs, no biceps. Even when I was younger, even when I graduated high school, like I think the only thing I could show was like a little tricep and a little bit of my bicep and a calf.
Were you the skinny kid that talked about his abs, but just because you had no fat either?
No, I didn't have abs. I had zero abdominal definition.
Okay.
It was just like flat. Like just draw a body on a piece of paper, draw 2 little dots for nipples. That was me.
Wow. You definitely created sympathy for the hero in this story.
No muscular definition at all. So like looking at now, like when I see like high school kids that are just skinny and they have abs, I'm like, I didn't even have abs when I was skinny. Like, what the heck? It kind of makes me mad. But so then I started playing football. And because I wasn't big enough, I was kind of fearless because I, had all this equipment on and listened to the coaches, like how to tackle correctly and like breaking down if you're in the open field. So I played defensive back, like corner and safety most of the time, and was a very good open field tackler because I could use my brain, right, and think of how people are moving and just use proper technique and make good open field tackles.
So I'm getting a little image of like Rudy, like you're just you're undersized, but you're tougher.
He had more muscle than me.
Well, Sean Austin did.
So yeah, but I ended up starting because I was like quick enough, but I was smart, so I'd know how to read plays. I wouldn't like overcommit, being a safety and everything like that. So I was smart enough and was able to get myself in right positions, and I really love football, so I had a passion for it. So I just wanted to get better, tried hard during practice, during like playing games and everything, like do whatever the coaches asked of me, run the laps at the end, pick up the, cones at the end, do whatever, just try and be there as much as I can, get there early, leave there late, everything, even at like a young age. And I think that also comes from my dad. He was helping coach, not my first couple years, but one of the years, but he was a football coach in the past when I was much younger. So I would go to practices with him even and like throw a ball around, but like he would just get there early because he'd come home from work like, okay, let's go to practice. And then he would just watch, hang out, but then he would be talking with the coaches after, so myself and other people would just be playing around more. But so using my knowledge and then my physical skill set, like I was athletic, I could move well, and I could do pull-ups. When I was in like 5th and 6th grade, I won the Presidential Fitness Award because I could, it's like a running and agility, pull up, a jump rope thing. I don't know what it was, but I won that because practically no one could do pull-ups in school. So like I was able to, from gymnastics, do pull-ups. So it's like,
so right in your wheelhouse, agility, conditioning, running, and then body weight
and
calisthenics.
Body weight stuff. Yeah, that was me. And then didn't really start lifting weights until like junior year of high school, and just kind of learned a little bit there, but still just really trying, like it was new, and I knew it would make me better at football, and because I was going to play in the NFL, obviously. Obviously. But then I think I was maybe like a late puberty person or something like that, so football was in the fall, and then track season was in the spring. So I played football and ran track in high school. And then my like senior year of track season, like maybe a couple weeks left in the year, I kind of like I did that 110 hurdles, the 400 hurdles, high jump and triple jump, right? Because I could always kind of jump, right? And near the end of the year, we would do the two or three shot putters on our team, and then myself would run like the 4x1 relay at the end because that was the last event in the track meet. And we would just run it for fun because they were on the football team as well, so we knew each other and had that bond. But I started noticing that I was starting to be a little bit faster than some of our, like the 100-meter dash people, and I was like, this is kind of weird. I think if we went like one-on-one, I could probably beat you. But then like track season ended, whatever. And then I joined a gym, started working out, reading incessantly online. It started way back in like 2003 of me like trying to absorb knowledge.
So right near the end of high school is when you started lifting weights, for the most part, for the first time on your own.
Yes, exactly, yeah. In the weight room, you're farting around or whatever you do, try and follow the program. But, I mean, I remember the first time everyone was benching 135 pounds, and I put it on, and I was like, okay, well, everyone else is doing this, and it just went onto my chest, and I was like, ugh!
And just crushed you.
Yeah, exactly.
Side note, not to get sidetracked, I just saw a video on Facebook. This guy insists, I guess he's been, doing this online, that he insists that powerlifting is all mental. So he went to prove it at a powerlifting competition and tried to bench 725. Now, this is not a small guy. He's a pretty big dude. But he said, I think his previous max was like 550, which is a lot. But he's like, it's all mental. It's all mental. Promise you, it's all mental. And there's a video of him just getting crushed on 3 attempts right in a row, embarrassing himself. Sorry, so that's what popped into my head when you said
definitely mental portion, but I don't think you can mentally lift.
Squeeze out an extra 1%.
Yeah, not an extra 100%. So then started lifting weights, and that's when my passion for this really came into training. But I was that person who saw someone with 225 on the bench press and thought that person was from another planet.
Strongest man alive.
Strong.
That's what I want to be when I grow up.
Squatting 315, so strong. Oh my goodness! Like, I'm gonna go get a drink just so I can look and watch him do his like bench press. Like weird stuff, or like, wow. I'm gonna do my curls facing this way. Pretend I'm looking in the mirror. But I'm gonna watch that person squat. But then I was like, okay, well, if those guys are big and strong, they're bench pressing and squatting. Like, let's do more of that. And then now here I am, an old man,
an old man,
An old professor.
an old professor. And just for the sake of bringing some closure to the story, I want people to understand where you've gotten to. What's your numbers now? Bench, squat, deadlift.
So let's see. So you graduate high school at 18. And I was benching maybe, I want to give myself credit and say I was able to bench 135, maybe 145 by the time I graduated high school.
Yeah.
I was not a very strong person, right? I could run for a while. Like I said, I was athletic. I could jump, run, crawl, do some push-ups, pull-up stuff, but not like weightlifting was not very strong. So 18, so 10 plus 4 plus 2, 16 years.
16 years later.
16 years later.
Drum roll.
I've added 135, 235, 335.
What are the numbers? Just straight up
So bench
raw
press,
numbers.
I've done 375 for 2, or 370 for 2 and 375 for 1.
Okay.
Squat, the highest I ever did was a questionable 500 pounds.
Meaning not deep enough?
Meaning that there was someone behind me, and I don't know if he was like helping like with the spot.
Okay, so not to competition standards, but
competition I did 470 in a powerlifting meet. I've actually competed in powerlifting. Yeah, being a weak person, competed in powerlifting and came in second.
yeah.
And then my deadlift, the most I've ever done is 535, but that is soon going to be a weight of the past. Because
And
it will be weak.
we're moving on up.
Yep. Shoulder press, I've pressed the 48 kilogram kettlebell with my right arm.
So this is for those
That's
that are
106
trying to
pounds.
pick this up, a kettlebell, about 106 pounds of standing overhead press.
Yeah, so just standing there, you can't really move for the standards of the one organization that tests it, and you hold it at your shoulder height with your thumb like on your collarbone at shoulder height, and then you just simply strictly press it up overhead. So I did that. I'm for sure on my right arm at least twice, but I don't remember if I got it on my left.
No.
But that will soon be the next test.
That's amazing. And you're a very strong dude now, and I know you have your sights set on people that are much stronger than you. So I know you don't consider yourself such, but
It's true.
I think that process just shows. It's a good depiction of what I was talking about earlier in terms of your combination of skills. Now, I know we could go deeper into the story, but right now, if you haven't listened to our podcast on Todd's 6 principles of strength training, go back and listen to that, because he talks about some core values that are sprinkled all in that story that he just mentioned. But if you were to say one, if you want to learn more about like mindset and kind of what Todd's talking about when he's talking about developing a program, just like the mindset, go listen to that show. But if you were to say one thing that really helped you get going, mindset-wise, what do you think helped you become successful in terms of picking up the habit and staying with it? You know, you had to get some little victories. You had to get around the right people. What would you say the one thing, mindset-wise, helped you out the most?
Put me on the spot. Mindset-wise, why did I do it? I always had like a vision of myself in my head, right? And like if I weigh 200 pounds, I'm going to be able to lift this amount of weight, and I'm going to look like, the superheroes in comic books. And that's just going to be awesome.
So vision.
I just had a vision of myself. And then I weighed 200 pounds and looked nothing like that. And I was like, 220 pounds. If I get to 220 pounds, I'm going to look so amazing. I'm going to be like look like a professional bodybuilder, but move like a ninja. Be able to do everything and anything that any like super yogi can do. And then I got to 220 pounds and was like, oh, I'm kind of fat, so let's lose some weight. And I still did not look like I wanted to. But now it's more so like still trying to get stronger, getting more into, because I'm a nerd with this stuff, like internal workings of the body and different energy systems. more neurological stuff, because a lot of what we do and how we train is very neurologically based, right? So we can stretch all we want, but if that person's like neurological system isn't allowing them to relax or to even, there's certain things that happen in the body with different little things. So if they don't let your muscle release or make that muscle tighten up, like you're not ever going to do it. So finding ways to like activate muscles or get proper muscle firing sequence going on in your body is, where I'm going down, like that endurance, strength, and then more neurologically based stuff right now. So
that's a big one. And I know that's a huge word for some people.
Yes.
You don't have to know, the neurological foundation of what he's talking about, but as long as you know that it exists and it's something you need to search answers for, I think that's a good place for people. Not everyone's going to go and get into the text, but just know that if you're having trouble with flexibility, just kind of like putting a little more detail behind that. If you're looking for more flexibility, just understand you do need to seek a coach or more information on the neurological effect on muscle tissue.
Yeah. So there's something like internal versus external, right? Like I think I talked with you about this, Mike. If we're stretching your hamstring, people think hamstring stretch. So it kind of almost tightens up your hamstring as you're stretching it, right? So then, or if you think about, so if you lay on your back right now in your home or wherever you are, and you try and just lift your leg up keep your leg straight, lift it up as high as you can go, and quote, stretch your hamstring, right? Or even sitting on the floor. This will be a better one. Sitting on the floor, legs straight out, reaching for your toes, right? And stretch your hamstrings. You'll feel your hamstring stretch, right? But now if you put like a big squishy ball against your chest and lean forward and try and push the ball, you're going to be you're using external resistance. You're pushing down. You'll probably actually get further along in your mobility and flexibility than you would if you were, quote, stretching the hamstring. So it's just like internal versus external. That's just one little thing that happens that you can do. So like I think I had a little ball and I had to push against it. We did shoulder mobility, right? Like reach behind you as far as you can without turning. And then I put the ball against his wrist and I said, okay, push this ball. And you got way further.
As a matter of fact, since we're trying to create a deeper experience with this podcast, we will go ahead and we'll film those drills and we're going to put it in the blog post on atinwardinvesting.com so you can see the drills that he's talking about. So, I mean, that's a really good foundation. Before we get started on how to build a program, I guess let's talk about what are some of the initial hurdles somebody who's beginning will face. What are some of the common obstacles beginners face?
Mike, what are the 4 key principles of the Inward Investing podcast?
Goals, environment, relationships, and health.
Wow, those seem like they could be some of the 4 biggest common things to starting a program to begin your strength.
My God, I think we nailed it.
Oh my goodness, wow, that's just such a coincidence.
So, setting the appropriate goal. A lot of beginners don't know how to set an appropriate goal. Something specific really helps. Mm-hmm. So, in your story, you mentioned
I wanted to look like a superhero.
And you had a number.
That was my long-term goal, right? So
yeah.
I knew I had to get to a certain weight and lift certain weights to be able to get to that goal. Although it was very wrong, but I was specific with the things, and I knew I had to get I had to be able to bench 150 pounds before I could bench 160 pounds. And I had to do 160 before I could bench 170. So just progressively loading up my weights and everything.
Absolutely. It's step by step. What's one thing that you changed or maybe had right about your environment?
I knew I had to eat protein.
Yeah.
Protein was the main thing that I've always tried to eat first at my meals and the most of any of the macronutrients.
So you had to make sure that was accessible, mm-hmm. and you were purchasing all of it, made sure you had it in your home, easily accessible right away.
Yep. So there'll be a meal where maybe I don't eat carbohydrates or as much veggies or as much fats as I want to, but I'll have the protein coming in, right? So if you have a piece of chicken that's leaner, it's not as much fat, but I was getting the protein because I know that was the building block of muscle.
Yeah. So if you're starting out, I mean, that's one thing you got to approach right away. What about relationships? What did you do successfully in your relationships at that time that helped you become successful?
So I would prioritize the gym over hanging out with friends sometimes. Like, no, I can't, or I'll meet you in an hour and a half. I'm going to go to the gym for an hour, go home, shower, or like shower at the gym, and then I'll meet you out. Like, oh, but we're going out, like it's 9 o'clock. Well, I had to, do something at home for my parents or something, and then I had to work. Now I'm going to the gym, and then I'll meet you out. Oh, but we may not be out then. All right, then I'll go home to go to bed. I'll call you when I'm done. If you guys are still out, I'll meet you. If not, I'll go home, eat food, and get more sleep. Oh, darn.
And I think somebody on the other side of the coin, that might look like you're ruining relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
It might sound like a negative, but in reality,
it was what I needed to get to my goals and to keep myself sane, right? If I started to just not prioritize the gym, if I just was going out because I needed to be a social butterfly, right? Or so I'll go to that back in a second. If I needed to be a social butterfly, then the gym is going to fall to the wayside, and you're not going to stay consistent with it, right? And consistency is probably one of the biggest things that, like, I get asked all the time. How are you so strong? How are you able to do that? I've been working out since I've been 5.
yeah.
So lifting weights since 2003. And that's not even long as some of these people out there, right? So, but going back, like the social butterfly thing, one of my best friend back home goes out a lot, like very social person, wants to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. It's like, hey, come do this with me. Come to the gym with me. And like,
Bingo.
oh, look at this is cool. Like, then he got into it a little bit more, since fallen off, but like still active now and everything like that. But still, like when I was back in Buffalo, like, they come to the gym with me. Oh, let's do this. Oh, that's cool. Let's do this. So
Yeah.
invite them into your world instead of always going out to their world.
Yeah. If you have a fear that your lifestyle will create separation between you and your friends, you can always use that as an opportunity to become a good influence and include them.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily need to do the same workout. Like,
Yeah.
if my wife and I go to the gym, we very rarely are doing the same thing, right? We'll be working out, but we just don't work out together. Her and I, like when we're working out. Like, we keep trying to correct each other, or like we just don't work out well together. So we don't. But we can go to the gym at the same time together and work out. We just do our own things, right? So like, you can have your friend there, like you go over, chat with him for a minute while you're resting, then go back to your thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like you do the same exact things, but that's also something you can do. You can do the same exact things. Maybe you have more knowledge than they do, so they just follow along.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. So
It's not as black and white as it sounds.
yeah.
Awesome. So obviously your health was affected in a positive way.
Absolutely.
That's kind of like automatic check. So let's get into the actual program design. And I know the thing we have to say about that, anytime I'm talking about diet too, not everyone's going to be the same, and everyone will be in a little different place. But what we're going to do now is we're going to attempt to give you, the listener, an opportunity to get a template that we know works for a lot of beginners, a starting point that you can tailor for yourself, or you can take this template, email us back, email Todd. We'll give you his contact information, inwardinvesting@gmail.com. You can send a question. We can start working with you. And also, Todd, you're available for online coaching too. So you do a lot of that. FaceTime, online spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, developing programs for powerlifters and all kinds of different people. So this will be our attempt at giving you a really good starting point. So if you're a beginner, you don't feel as lost, or if you've just been stuck in the same rut that, sometimes you can't tell where you need to go next. So let's start with this. What's the first thing you do when you get a beginner in? What's the first thing you think a beginner needs to do first day in the gym?
Move
around, try stuff.
Yes, just try different things, find out what hurts, what doesn't hurt. Like, if you don't have a trainer, right? I was thinking about this, like, you just walk into the big box gym by yourself for day one, and you're just like, whoa, right?
Yeah.
So like that's my thought behind what we're going to talk about today.
Get familiar.
So no training, no trainers with you, right? So like if you can get a trainer, better. Talk to us. We'll help you find a qualified one, or at least things to look for in a qualified one, right?
Yep.
But today's podcast, I'm talking about you don't have a trainer.
Yep.
So
if you can find one, but I know we'll move on. But what's an assessment that maybe they should seek out? Is there an assessment process you think somebody should look for?
So there's the FMS, which is very popular with people. I mean, there's a couple different things a route you can go down, but FMS seems to be the most popular. It's what they use with a lot of professional teams and everything like that. There's the FRC assessments, the functional range conditioning. Anyone in like the Strong First organization probably has a little bit more knowledge of what to look for than just some random trainers and stuff like that. There's the NASM overhead squat template. So if someone's like NASM trained, they know about that, which tells a lot of things. So there's a lot of things out there. But like if you seek out like someone with the FMS, they'll probably have a little bit more knowledge than just the general person. And that's functional movement systems, FMS.
All right. So then that's where you can go hit the Google machine or ask us. We'll help you find them.
Yeah.
All right. So you say you don't have a trainer. First day, I just went through the
gym.
first day. I just moved. I just tried the stuff out. I just wanted to see what's going on. No pressure. No nothing.
So you walk into the gym, you find the layout of everything. And so you should have a goal of why you're at the gym. Lose weight, get stronger. For today's episode, we're going to focus on getting stronger, right? So you're going to go and you're going to, like, what body part do you want to get stronger? You want stronger legs? You want your arms to be huge? You want a big chest? You want a big back? You want great abs? Go do an exercise for that first. You'll enjoy it.
Start there.
Start with curls for the girls, right? Just do what you need to so that you want to go back.
Something that you like.
Something that you like, yeah.
And you can see an immediate result doing something that you like often.
Mm-hmm. So if going to the gym is a chore for you, doing something that you'll actually enjoy at the gym will make that experience better, right? So if you're, I hate going to the gym, but I really want big arms. So like I know I need to go, so do some curls, do some tricep extensions, feel what you're working out. So
F the haters, man.
Better. Yeah.
F the haters.
Exactly. If all you want is big arms, just do curls and tricep extensions, and then it can get, that's more advanced once you get down the road. But so do something you enjoy. Also, if you don't know how to do something, look at people. Just watch. Someone's going to be doing
Respectfully.
it. Yes. Yeah. Don't creepily stare. So maybe it's your first day. You want to warm up, and you're walking on the treadmill, and you could see someone doing some curls or doing a squat or using the machines, whatever, that you don't know how to use. I don't know how to use that machine, so I'm not going to go on. I'm just going to go on the treadmill. No, watch someone use it. Ask someone at the gym, hey, am I doing this right? People at the gym are not like these mutes that are deaf. Most people are going to be willing to be like, hey, hey, can you watch me or spot me? And then, oh no, you got to do it this way. Or can you show me how to use this machine real quick? Oh yeah, you sit down and then, here's how you adjust it. You push, pull, whatever that machine is, right? Most people at the gym are going to be helpful.
Yeah. As intimidating as they can be, you don't realize how intimidated other people are too. So they can give the impression that they're closed off or have the RBF going.
Yes.
But a lot of people are just as nervous as you are or scared to look stupid. That's in everybody's head.
You won't look as stupid as some of the people on the internet anyway, so you're good. Don't worry about it.
Just YouTube weightlifting accidents.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know about accidents. That can get scary.
Oh, okay. Let's wait a year.
Weightlifting like stupidness or something, where someone's got their head on the leg machine going or humping the ground or something.
You won't be that person as long as you're within reason, asking, getting advice, and following the signs on the machines.
Yeah. And then, so getting a little bit more specific, right? So look at people, read the machine, see how you're supposed to do it. Now you have phones, right? So when I started, I didn't even have a phone. at the gym. So you could go on YouTube and look up, okay, this says shoulder press. I don't even know what a shoulder is. Let me type it in my phone. Okay, oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go like this. Oh,
Even
that's
for
too heavy.
the most beginner level of all beginners, you can still find the answer you're looking for.
Yes. So just watch someone use the machine, or if you just use the machine and then someone gets on it right after you, peek over and be like, oh, okay, he did this or she did this. That looks a little bit better than what I did.
And I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Just ask them.
Yeah.
And we get asked this stuff all the time, even if you're not in the trainer shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly normal to ask, why do you do it that way?
Yeah.
What are you doing and why do you do it that way?
Yeah. And then use your judgment. Like, why are you arching your back while you do that? Oh, because you're getting more contraction of X, Y, or Z. Okay. And then you walk away and be like, I don't really think so.
Yeah. And if it doesn't feel good, you try it. Doesn't feel good. Don't feel
or
pressure.
if you want to do it, yeah. Feels awful for you, don't do it. Like Mike said, everyone's different. Now getting a little bit more specific. When you just start out, people tend to try and kill themselves or go like overboard. Like they go all in. So 3 days a week, total body. Do like an exercise for every single muscle group. You know, it's not going to kill you. You'll be recovered by the next time you go. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay, so 3
Total
days a
body.
week. Good way to start. Total
Under
body
an
program.
hour. You should be in and out in under an hour.
So let's
doing
talk.
that.
So let's talk about muscle groups. What am I looking for? I got
Legs,
okay, and that could be
quads and
Quads and
hamstrings, the front of
hamstrings.
your leg, the back of your leg.
okay,
Right. You got a chest.
okay.
You have your back.
Which your chest could be a bench press, push-ups.
Yeah.
something
whatever.
like
yeah.
those lines.
Your back, so any type of rowing machine, and then also like a vertical pull, like a lat pull down, a pull up, something
Yep.
like that.
Some assisted pull-up machines out there.
And then your shoulder press, and then some ab stuff. So not a ton.
Yeah. So like an ab stuff could be front side plank, side
planks, dead bugs, things like that. So if you don't know what some of these are, you can either ask us, or go online.
Or you can download. We are creating a template for this workout that you can download. It'll be in our email blast. So all you have to do is make sure you're a subscriber to the newsletter, and you'll get Todd's starter program.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're going through this, you're gonna have something to download and actually start with. So going on, we're hitting every body part 3 days a week.
Yep. You can choose in the beginning. You can choose to do the same exercises too, all 3 days, or you can. If you did a dumbbell curl for your bicep, I forgot arms. You can't forget arms in the program.
No.
Bicep, tricep.
The girls, man.
Yeah, so if, say, you do a dumbbell curl one day, you can do a barbell curl the next day, or a different dumbbell curl. You can do a seated dumbbell curl, standing dumbbell curl.
What's the benefit in your mind between, we hear all about muscle confusion, you got to change it up, and I know that probably a common problem that beginners have is they change things up too much.
Yeah.
So what's the benefit of doing the same workout over and over for 4 to 5 weeks?
Like we were talking about, that neuromuscular connection, right? Your brain-body connection. And then you're just going to get better at it, right? So the better you can get at it, the more weight you can lift, causing more of a response in your body, right? And the more muscle response, the more muscle you have, the more calories you're burning. That means you can eat more food and still lose weight.
Boom,
So
that's
you
all
look
our
better.
dream, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Eat more.
Eat more and lose weight. That's perfect.
That's the dream right there. Now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Now I'm in.
The next thing would be to grab 1 or 2 weights and walk with them.
So a carry.
Carry
them around.
Carry them. Carry them at your sides. Carry them up your shoulders. Carry them up over your head. Kind of hug it and carry it. Carry a weird thing. If there's like a heavy ball.
How
carry
weird?
that.
How weird are we talking?
A stone.
A
Well,
stone.
A boulder.
An Atlas stone.
An Atlas stone.
Big
yes.
old rock.
If they have like sand-filled bags, you can carry those. You just want to carry something. And
I highly advise, though, if you're going to carry a stone, wear a kilt.
yes.
It makes you 10% stronger.
Yes, automatically. And if you like do the tar on your arms, that also makes you That's
Absolutely.
150% stronger.
It's kind of like in baseball. The more wristbands you wear on your arm, the more home runs you will hit.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so you can carry it for a time and try and increase your time. You can carry it for a distance, like, oh, I'm going to carry this as far as I can, like up and down the gym as many times as I can until I drop it. Okay, I did 8 laps. Or I carried it for 30 seconds before I had to set it down. Then you can try and either A, increase the time or distance, or B, I'm going to grab a heavier weight and try and carry it the same. That's just a way to, challenge yourself. But carrying weight is probably the most underused workout there is, but probably one of the most beneficial workouts for your entire body.
So if I'm doing a carry, do I want to do that in the beginning of the workout, the middle, the end? Does it matter?
Yes.
Yes.
All of
them.
Yes.
So how far should I carry this weight? How am I selecting my weights? If I say, okay, I'm going to carry 2 dumbbells, and my gym has a basketball court, just to put some kind of number on here, you're going to, I want to be clear too, over the course of your weightlifting experience, you're going to do a lot of different variations.
Yes.
Starting out, what am I looking for?
Say go for 30 seconds the first day.
Carry something straight 30 seconds.
Then, so if it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30 seconds Monday, 45 seconds Wednesday, 1 minute on Friday. Try to, right? It may not go that fast. It may be 30 seconds, 35 seconds, 37 seconds, or maybe even 30 seconds, 35 seconds, 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Right?
So
It may not work, but say, okay, I'm going to carry it 30 seconds without setting it down. And then I'm going to keep carrying this weight like on consecutive workouts until I can get to 1 minute.
okay.
Once you get to a minute, grab a heavier weight, carry it for 30 seconds.
Something that you feel like you're not going to drop it, but your grip is worn out after 30 seconds of carrying it.
Yeah, so then go back to, now you're at a heavier weight for 30 seconds, then work up to that minute. Just keep doing that. Change the position. So holding it from your side to at your shoulder to overhead.
Awesome.
Or start overhead, carry it as long as you can before you feel like it's going to fall and be unsafe. Then carry it at your shoulder for as long as you can. Then carry it at your side for as long as you can. And then switch arms.
That's
Right?
awesome.
Yeah, like you could do a minute overhead, a minute at your shoulder, and a minute at your side, and then switch. And that's 6 minutes of work. Straight work. You didn't take a rest, just moving the dumbbell around your body.
Yeah.
And you can just walk around, and walking is super beneficial. You can march. You can look like a little bit of a weirdo, but you can get your knees above your hips and march.
The
Now
hanging
you're
march.
using more of your abs while you're doing it as well. So
Yeah, carries
Carrying
are
weight.
super underrated, man. You got, okay, so going back through the top of the program, what am I looking at rep range wise? So if I'm doing arms, legs, shoulders, chest, all this stuff, what am I looking at? Say general fitness is kind of my goal. I want to gain a little muscle, lose a little fat. Where are we starting? Pick a weight that you can do how many reps and sets.
12 to 15 reps for 3 to 4 sets. Right? If you like the exercise and you want to, like, I want my legs to get a little bit better looking, like, do more sets, 4 to 5 sets. But if you're like, I know I need to do my back workout, but I don't really like to, 3 sets of like 12 to 15 in the beginning. Just work on doing it correctly and getting better at doing that movement.
Awesome.
Right? So then you can eventually work. Then that's where it gets more confusing and lower reps, higher weight, higher reps, lower weight. Okay, just do this for as many reps as you can, go to failure, all that crazy stuff. But just start out like 12 to 15 reps. You want to be on like that third set. That 12 or 15th rep is going to be really hard. Maybe the first set it doesn't feel as hard. Second set is hard. Third set it's, I only got like 10 reps. Darn it.
Yeah.
But that's motivation for next time to get more.
Yeah. So if I'm picking a weight, we call it RPE, your rate of perceived exertion. So you don't have a calculator, you don't have maxes to go off of. Again, you're working out by yourself. If I'm lifting on a scale from 1 to 10, how difficult should the first set feel if I selected the right weight?
Like a 5-ish to a 7-ish, depending on what your mental capacity is.
Yep.
And how much you can like fight through some of it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like a 5 to 7, right? It's not max, not super light, but somewhere in the middle. You want it to be challenging.
Yeah. So you should feel like at the end of the set you had a couple left in you maybe, but not like you could have done the set all over again without rest.
Exactly, yes. So another thing is time, your rest time, right? In the beginning, you really only want like 60 seconds to 2 minutes rest between everything, because otherwise you're going to be there too long. You're taking too much rest to elicit a response with not enough load. So that's one of the things you can challenge. You can do the same workout for a month, right? Same weight and reps. So once it starts to get like shorten your rest period. So if you were taking 60 seconds, take 30 seconds rest now in between. So you don't have to change the weight. You don't have to change anything. So this is great for like an at-home workout. Like if I'm doing a shoulder press, and then, okay, now I'm going to do my next set, and I wait a minute. Now wait only 30 seconds and do it, and it'll get harder. Then the third set, 30 seconds will be even harder, because it's just more time under tension, right? So that's one way to trick your body into thinking it's doing more work or harder work, but really you're lifting the same like tonnage in that workout.
Yeah, and that's one way to just change your workout out altogether. Like you said, if you go through like 3 to 4 weeks of this program, and then for another 3 to 4 weeks you don't change anything but the rest times, that creates a whole different stimulus all on its own. It's just one change, but it's a significant one.
And like you can even do this with one of the workouts I have to go to a friend's birthday party. I don't have time to go to the gym for an hour because I have to get ready and do my hair and everything. It's like, okay, well, do that same workout, but see if you can get it in a half hour. See if you can do that same amount of work in a half hour.
Yeah.
Breeze through everything. And then supersets.
Or you could just shave your head.
Yeah.
You don't have to prepare your hair.
Like supersets, I don't really want to get into this too much, but that's doing exercises back to back.
Supersets.
Yeah, so like you'll do a chest press and then a back row, right? Like, and then just keep going back and forth for all 3
Two
sets.
complementary exercises.
Yeah, so chest and then a row, and then a chest and then a row, and then a chest and then a row, and then you go on to the next one, right? You did your 3 sets of each with really limited rest. Your only rest is while you're doing the other exercise. So that's another way to spice it up a little bit. But in the beginning, I wouldn't even say you have to do that. Just focus on the exercise that you're doing. Don't try and get too fancy.
I want to ask a question that's on all of our minds right now. Can I throw the weights?
Depends on where you are.
If I'm in an overhead press and they're directly overhead, can I just launch that sucker straight down onto the ground and hear that beautiful boom?
What gym are you at?
LA Fitness, and it's crowded.
No.
No. Safety issue. Got it.
They could bounce and hit someone, and that would not be good. They could bounce and hit you, which would not be good. They could bounce through the floor, which would not be good. They could bounce into the mirror and break the mirror.
But it's such a good chance for me to establish my alpha dominance.
It is. So that's where you need to learn how to deadlift.
Oh.
Coach and deadlift, and then
so you mean
the big weights.
I should let the weights do the talking.
Let the weights do the talking.
Oh,
that's
okay.
right. That's right.
Not my clothing?
Not your clothing. Well, if you look good, you feel good, you perform good. So.
Okay, so clothing's high up on the list, but not the top.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Clothing, say top 5 in establishing your
So
alpha
clothing is
dominance in the
something
gym.
I've never been very good at. So never looked good to play good. I've just had to rely on playing good.
Okay, different strokes, though.
Yes.
All right, so we got the weightlifting thing nailed down. So say I have some extra time. What am I looking at cardio-wise? Should I do cardio?
Absolutely. You want your lungs and heart to be healthy, Mike. You should do cardio.
Absolutely. I'm in. So what do? I did all that. I did that whole workout in 45 minutes. I got 15 minutes left over before I got to get out of the gym. What do?
What do you want to do? Do you want to run? Do you want to go on a stair? Do you want to go on the elliptical and stare at people?
I don't want to do anything. I'm a beginner. I don't even know which one I want to do.
Just go on the treadmill. Go for a walk.
Go for a walk on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Cool.
Stretch.
So running makes my knees hurt. What can I do on the treadmill?
Walk.
Walk.
You can put it on an incline and walk.
There we
You don't
go.
have to run.
Okay.
So
It's
put
like
it
a
on an
little hill.
incline. Now all of a sudden you're walking uphill. That may hurt your knees more. Go on the elliptical.
I think the downhill would hurt you.
Hurt your
Uphill,
knees more.
I don't think so.
Probably not, because you're probably using more muscles.
More hamstring too.
Yeah,
That's
more
sick.
muscles.
That's some sick advice.
yeah,
So a 15-minute straight walk.
Yeah, if you put the treadmill as high as it can go and walk at like just a brisk pace, not super fast, but a brisk one for like
Yep.
15 minutes, and don't hold on. So that's the key on the treadmill. Do not hold on to the treadmill.
Big time.
Do not hold on. Because if you go on an incline and you're holding on, now it's like you're just walking on flat ground. But if you have to lean and use your abs and your legs and all your muscles, and you walk for 15 minutes at a brisk pace, you're going to be dripping.
Actually, did you know our coworker Emily Kiernan did an actual study for her master's degree and won an award with it, where she took us through a cardio program over the course of a number of weeks, and she tested our peak heart rate recovery. I think it was 3 different markers with heart rate, and measured it doing the same amount of walking at the same speed, same incline each week. One was holding on to the treadmill, one was not holding on at all, and then another one was, I think there was 3. Oh, it'd really help if I knew the third one. Anyways, not holding on to the treadmill significantly crushed the other 2 in highest heart rate and heart rate recovery.
Yeah, and it's going to in turn most likely lead to more changes, favorable changes that you want in your body.
Bingo.
Right? Yeah, so
It's all about favorable
Yeah.
changes.
when you see the people with the, quote, leanest bodies on the planet, bodybuilders, fitness models,
They're not walking with their hands on the treadmill.
no, they're not, and they're not running. They're walking on the treadmill
Yep.
at an incline, walking on the stair stepper, just getting it in. That's all you need to do. Is consistently just do it. And if you don't really feel like it that day, stretch for 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Just cool down with a stretch. That's going to help
Take care of the
promote
joints.
Yeah, protect the joints, help promote a little bit of recovery because you're getting blood flow there, getting more nutrients to that. And if worse comes to worse, you don't even want to do that. Spend that 15 minutes cooking your food, eating better food, go
Yeah.
shopping
Get home, get
for
the
healthy
food prepped.
food. Yes. Yeah. If you don't want to do cardio, make sure your diet is on point.
Yeah. So no matter what, you're utilizing a full hour.
Yes.
At least, I mean, that's the least you can do. That's awesome. So we're going to put all of that information into a PDF. If you're a newsletter subscriber for the Inward Investing Podcast, you can get this template, and we're going to put some of these videos for the warm-up Todd was talking about. We're going to set you up here. If you're a beginner or need to change it up, you're going to get set up here. I also have a training program inside the F1 course if you want to actually be led through this stuff. Any question that you have, we'd love to answer it. I know that templates are a little hard to coach. You're giving some general advice, but I mean, you just heard it for yourself. It worked for Todd in a way that he experienced the transformation himself, and then he's also applied this for a long, long time coaching beginners. So it has both sides of it. So I can't stress enough. Take this program, get started with it. Don't hesitate. Get in the gym. Like you said, day one, just walk around, get familiar. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to do it perfect, and then follow this template. If you have any questions beyond that, ask them. We're here to help. This is what we do for a living. This is why we did the podcast. We want to get more people, fathers included, involved in taking care of themselves, and it doesn't have to be this big, insane process for you to do. As you heard, it can be extraordinarily simple. You might not know what you're doing, but it can be extraordinarily simple if you follow that.
But like you said,
simple advice.
we tend to overcomplicate it too quickly or
Yeah.
try to do too much too quickly, and that's where we fall off. So
Yeah,
simplicity wins.
every time. And so on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you for listening. This has been the Inward Investing Podcast. I'm Mike Ritter,
And I'm Todd Whelan.
and we will see you next week.